for beer. Hope you can hear us in the back. And what's our topic for this episode?
Um, Light loggers?
Maybe there's a clue somewhere around.
Pumpkin beer.
Pumpkin beer. Pumpkin beer or pumpkin beer?
Pumpkin beer.
That's right. So, there's a lot of pumpkin beers out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's also the time of year for flu shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Got that.
You got that. Okay, good. But where should we start with pumpkin beers?
Probably the first commercial pumpkin beer, the one that started this newfound craze, pumpkin mania.
Well, coincidence that you ask about that. But really, I guess the first commercial pumpkin beer was Buffalo Bill's. I believe it's branded as America's original pumpkin
That's right.
beer.
They added that to the label, didn't they?
Yes, it has a nice label. It's a wonderful, beautiful bottle. We'll talk about the beer inside that bottle later. But with that, really the first...
When was that?
It was around 1985. But...
So before Pumpkin Spice Latte, before Trader Joe's Pumpkin Fetish.
That's right, yes. The pumpkin fetish of Trader Joe's. It really, again, the beer came on the market in 1985. But the idea behind it was started by Bill Owens, who actually opened the Buffalo Bill's Brewery because he was very fond of his own home brewing. And California had passed the legislation in 1982 that allowed breweries to serve their own beer on premises. So Buffalo Bill's, yes, and Buffalo Bill's is currently in Hayward, California, and it was one of the first brew pubs in California. With that, with the success of his brew pub, he decided to, he had a recipe that really caught his eye, and he decided to experiment a little bit, and made the first pumpkin beer, pumpkin ale, and started serving it at his brew pub.
Modern times.
In modern times, correct, yes. The modern pumpkin beer for it. With that, for Buffalo Bill Brewery, it started to get really popular. He also had a brewer on board who has a great story of him just being a college kid and wanted to learn a lot about making beer. So Bill Owens hired him to really clean the vats for free as he learned how to brew beer.
You know a lot about Buffalo Bills.
I do. I tried to do my research. And with that, he sort of took over with a lot of it. And his name was Jeff Harries. And from there, though, they decided to start the distribution of it so that people outside of Buffalo Bills could enjoy it. They partnered with Pyramid at first, and now I think in these modern times. Oh, and also what happened was Bill Owens decided to sell Buffalo Bills Brew Pub to Jeff Harries. Jeff had left to go to another establishment, which I didn't find out. But when it came time for Bill Owens to sort of retire,
for the Warriors, didn't he?
Maybe he did. Yes.
Billy Owens.
Yes, they traded Mitch Richmond. They traded Mitch Richmond for him. But when they sold the brew pub over to him, he decided to not only have it again, Buffalo Bills, and have it locally, but try and expand it really all over the West Coast, and the footprint may even reach beyond that. So there are breweries in Portland now that also brew it as well for
the contract brew it?
Contract brew it, yes, correct.
Where did Bill get that recipe from?
Well, it's my understanding that Bill got the recipe from seeing some of the old brew recipes from one of our founding fathers.
Yeah, that's all I knew about Buffalo Bills is that he used George Washington's pumpkin beer recipe. And the Pilgrims probably brewed a lot of pumpkin beer. George Washington has a recipe. Ben Franklin and Tom Jefferson brewed pumpkin beer. And the reason why is not because they loved pumpkin beer, because they couldn't grow barley. And
that's what's available.
Pumpkins are a squash, and squashes are native to North America. And these grew everywhere like weeds all around the colonies. So they would feed them to cattle, make beer with them, make whatever they could with them.
And you've had one of the recipes.
I've had a recreation of the original recipe, about as true to form as George Washington's recipe was.
And it was delicious.
It was horrible. It's like super sweet and super spicy. Yeah. George Washington was a giant beer lover, but that was not a great beer.
Well,
make do with what you can, what you have.
That's
I guess.
true.
And it did taste like dew. They did make do.
Well, using that segue, it's actually coincidence with some of the beers that we have here, because we're speaking of Buffalo Bill's beer, and
yes,
we have behind me.
What?
Wait, is that?
Oh, it's a Buffalo Bills. Should we move this?
We can relocate a little bit.
This is not the kind of pumpkin you would use to make beer, is it?
It is not, and really, we'll talk about with some of the things that go into beer. Um, Pumpkin beer,
Yeah.
and the best pumpkins that we would use are basically, you can think of it as following along with the idea of making a pumpkin pie. I mean, any of the sugar pie, anything with pie at the end, anything that might have baby before it, for the pumpkins, or of course the other kiddie things like the Cinderella pumpkin or
Right.
the fairy tale pumpkin. Those are all really good because they are
They're fleshier and they're
mid-year, yes.
like most pumpkins are just fiber and water, which is why you don't get a lot of pumpkin flavor from pumpkin beer unless you use a humongous amount of pumpkin. And you will get a little bit of mouthfeel out of it, but it's hard to get pumpkin flavor, which is why they use spices to kind of give you that mind, that reminiscence of what you think pumpkin's going to taste like.
And a lot of the spices they use are things like vanilla, allspice, ginger, clove, anise, or even adding the star to the anise to some of them.
Or a star, like a
Yes,
anise is.
that's right. Put a star next to it so they don't forget that spice.
Yeah, pumpkin beer is not a real. Are you finished with spice?
Well, there's nutmeg and vanilla could be some of them as
You
well.
said
although
vanilla
I
already.
did say vanilla.
Yeah, it's not even a spice, but
No,
it's all right.
that's right. It's so good you put it in twice.
Oh, some of them, like pumpkin beer, is not really a style. It's just a beer with pumpkin and spice in it, or just spice in it. In this case, this beer contains no pumpkin. Like a pumpkin spice latte contains no pumpkin.
Yes.
This also is just spice.
Well, what were some of the like original base styles for?
Well, originally they would be a pale ale, really
I'm bored.
lowly hopped. But now more often you find browns or porters or stouts, heavier beers that can really stand up against the spices.
This is also my first taste of Buffalo Bills.
And I'm drinking. I'll talk about my beer now,
Sure.
because this is my favorite pumpkin beer. It's Dogfish Head's Punkin Ale. Punkin, named after the Punkin Chunkin Festival, which is also in Delaware.
Really?
Yeah,
I think I saw something about that on the Discovery Channel.
yeah. Mythbusters likes to go there.
Junkyard Wars. I'm old.
Right, right. So, let's try it.
Sure. Prost.
You've obviously got more head than me, and you're darker.
Yes. Literally.
I've got more head, though.
Literally.
Okay.
Prost. Oh, sorry.
Um,
I like the smell of it though.
me too.
For mine, and this again, first try for Buffalo Bills, but I have enjoyed quite a few pumpkin beers.
You go ahead and I'll talk while you're drinking. Mine is baked pumpkin, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg. I've drank a lot of this already, so I know it's malty, brown sugar. It's got a good spice balance. It's kind of a light, medium-bodied beer. If you're trying this at home, which I recommend you do, because I think it's like the gold standard for pumpkin beer, drink some of it and then let some of it warm a little, because the taste really does change.
So I will say that at least either my second or third pumpkin beer ever was Dogfish Head, and it was quite good. I don't know if I should directly compare it with this Buffalo Bills I'm having. I won't judge it until at least the third drink.
Now, a lot of people hate pumpkin beer, and so what? I generally think they're pretty good, and you only have to drink it one season a year.
Yeah, well, I think the idea though also is some people, and even some people who are brewing pumpkin beer, were trying to capture the essence of pumpkin pie in a bottle.
Yeah, just
with
boozy
alcohol.
pumpkin pie.
Yeah, boozy pumpkin pie, and a lot of
It sounds pretty good, but I don't know if I want it as a drink.
a lot of sweet beers can be kind of cloying, so that's partly the issue. And I think that's also one of the good things is that I think a majority of the current pumpkin ales that are being brewed are not on the sweet side. Some of them come pretty hoppy. Some of them with a lot of good aroma. This one actually smelled good. Smelled
Yeah.
probably better than it tasted.
Oh, so have you given a rating for that?
Oh,
or-
sorry, I'll wait till my third drink for that. But that is the case with a lot of the pumpkin beers now in the market. Is they're coming out stronger. I think it's one of the things in terms of like
That's
alcohol
true.
by volume.
A lot of
flavors.
them. This beer, it's like this year's Smash Pumpkin from Shipyard has a. You can taste the alcohol in it, just a little bit, which I think is actually a good thing.
I will say this after my third drink of Buffalo Bills. It is on the sweeter side for pumpkin beer, and even with the slightly odd or off aftertaste. But I do love the smell of it, and of course it is America's original, as you can read on
So
the label.
you have to love the history.
Yes. Although Buffalo Bills Brewery, go visit it if you're ever in the Hayward area. It's a place.
Give us a call if you're there. We'll meet you there.
Yes, that's true. But overall, pumpkin beers. I think we're both fans of pumpkin beers.
Yeah, don't discount it. If you don't like pumpkin beer, maybe you're just drinking a bad pumpkin beer.
That's true.
Because there is a wide line between good pumpkin beers and bad ones.
That's right. We defined that. It wasn't a thin line. It's a wide line between what is good and what is bad. But try a lot. A lot of the breweries now are brewing with what's local, the resources that are local, the foods that are local,
right.
and there's a lot of variation. So enjoy it. As you can see, we love it, and there's lots of variations. So with that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here for beer. Again, I'm Lee. This is Jay.
I'm Jay.
And enjoy some pumpkin beer.
Thanks for watching. Support your local brewery.
Cheers.
Cheers.